Hi, I'm Gary Bean, and this is a short tutorial on how sessions are handled by gbvisualdesigner. By default, when gbvisualdesigner is closed, it asks the user to save any files which have unsaved changes. The list of files that are open when gbvisualdesigner closes is stored, and those files are opened when a new gbvisualdesigner session is started. I'll close this session and reopen gbvisualdesigner, and you can see that the same files have been reopened as were open in the session that closed earlier. In some cases, however, the programmer may wish to close gbvisualdesigner without closing and saving the open files. For example, they might need to leave their PC but want to complete additional testing of the changes before committing those changes to files. The Save Session feature of gbvisualdesigner here is available for just such a case. With the Save Session feature on, a user can close gbvisualdesigner, which will put the current state of all open files into a temporary file, and then use that temporary file to restore the last editing session without having to save the changes to the original files. Here's an example of how a Save Session would work. I'll make a change to this file and close gbvisualdesigner, and when it's restored, you'll see that the changes are still there. Yet when I reload the original file, you'll see that the changes were not placed into the original file. I find it a very useful tool for handling interruptions in my work. I just close the app and reopen it to exactly where I left off. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to watch the other tutorials I've made for gbvisualdesigner.